All right, so this next part is going to be doing some dividing of complex fraction or complex numbers. So you can see that for number 9, we're going to do 7 divided by negative 4i. So the main thing is that we got to get that I out of the denominator, so we're going to multiply to the numerator and the denominator by I, and you'll see why we do that. So on the top, I take 7 times I and get 7i. On the bottom, I take negative 4i times I, that gets me negative 4i squared. But what I showed you last video is that I squared is actually equal to negative 1. So we get 7i divided by negative 4 times I squared, but that's negative 1. It's negative 4 times negative 1, which gets you 4. All right, so we're going to jump over here to number 10. I'm going to multiply once again just by that I. So multiply top and bottom by I. Now on the top, I need to distribute. So I'll distribute the I to both the 4 and that negative 5i, which becomes negative 5i squared. And on the bottom, it becomes negative 7i squared. So remember, the I squareds are going to become negative 1s. You multiply those by negative 1s. So this becomes 4i plus 5 all over 7. Now, what I told you before is I want that real number first. So I'm going to put the 5 first and the 4i second. I'm going to do one other thing. So 5 plus 4i, that's all being divided by 7. The last thing I'm going to do is split this up. I'm going to split it up as 5 over 7 plus 4 over 7 with the I. So that way my complex number and my real number are now separated. You can see that my real number is 5/7. My complex number becomes 4/7 times I. So that's how you multiply when there is just a monomial, one term in the denominator. I'm going to jump down here to number 13, where it's a binomial. It's 10 plus I. Now, in order to get rid of that I, we're not going to just multiply by I, because it's not going to do anything. It's going to constantly be there. The one thing that we're going to do is we're going to multiply by something called the conjugate. So the conjugate is literally just changing whatever operation you have from a plus to a minus or a minus to a plus. So I'll multiply by 10 minus I to both numerator and denominator. So my numerator, I'll distribute, get 70i minus, not I squared, that should be 7i squared, that's my mistake. And then the denominator, all you're going to do is multiply your outside numbers, the 10 and the 10, and the I times the negative I. And there's a reason behind that. Stuff is going to cancel out. I'm really just interested in my firsts and my lasts. So multiply your firsts times your lasts. Now on the top, it's become 70i. It shouldn't become plus 1, it actually should be plus 7. That's my mistake. It's being divided by 100 plus 1. So this becomes, remember, it's not going to be a 1 plus 70i. I'm switching it up. It should be a 7 plus 70i. That was my mistake. I'm dividing that, so I'm going to go ahead and split it up. It should be 7 over 101 plus 70 over 101 times I. So that's your final answer. Remember, it's not 1 over 101. It should be 7 over 101. All right, so that's more. We're going to do one more. We're going to jump down here to number 16. I'm going to multiply by the conjugate. So like I said, all you're going to do is change that minus to a plus. So it still stays negative 5, becomes plus 2i, and then negative 5 plus 2i. So you're going to distribute up top. You get negative 30 times 12i. On the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and distribute my firsts together. So negative 5 times negative 5 gets me 25. Then I'll distribute my lasts together. Negative 2i times positive 2i gets you negative 4i squared. But remember, the I squared is going to become negative 1, so that's going to become a plus 4. So up top, nothing changes. Negative 30 plus 12i. The bottom becomes 25 plus 4. I'm going to split these up. Negative 30 over 29 plus 12 over 29i. And that's your final answer. So that's how you multiply with these complex numbers.